Now, welcome to another news from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Tanks, as always. And I think we got a lot to talk about today, so as usual, let's get right to it.
Okay, first bit of news today. The Disney Plus app has added a synopsis for Kenobi, one of those brief little things they like to put up there to tell you what the show is going to be about.
A little couple sentence blurb. Yeah.
Yes. So the details they add in the description are as follows. During the reign of the Galactic Empire, former Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi embarks on a crucial mission. Kenobi must confront allies turned enemies and face the wrath of the Empire. So the key phrase that is interesting is allies turned enemies. Does this just mean Vader? Are there more allies, old allies he's going to run into that are on Team Empire now? We don't know for sure what it means. Could it be like Inquisitors? Because they used to be good guys.
I think there's we know
Some of them.
we know the Grand Inquisitor used to be a
Jedi Temple Guard.
Exactly. So I mean, technically, he's a traitor to the Jedi. There are a couple other interesting little things to take away from that. Former Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, which goes in line with what he says in A New Hope, for what it's worth. That I was once a Jedi, like your father. So
well, and he's broken, so maybe he does not consider himself a Jedi.
I discussed that a little bit in my video on the main channel the other day. So it's interesting to note what his mindset is going to be, how far broken and faithless, as they have said, is he going to be. Also interesting to note that he is going to go on a mission. I mean, there were some who speculated he will kind of be a crucial mission, which some think is, spoiler alert-ish, I guess, is going to be to protect Leia. I mean, there were some who thought he might be chased away from Tatooine, some who thought he might try to lure the Inquisitors away from Luke, that it wasn't so much a quote-unquote mission. I mean, that just might be what they worded as, but I think that's interesting, that it seems to be something he is going to willingly take up, some kind of job he's going to do.
Then there's also the old allies turned enemies. Maybe, what about Cody?
It could be.
Could run into his former clone commander.
Yeah, we already know he turned enemy, though, and so does Kenobi, so that's kind of... I'm not saying we can't see Cody in there, but I don't know that that's like an old ally turn, which is true, he did, but it's something we already long since know, and even Kenobi's going to know, that he's probably long since figured out that something happened with the clones, that it wasn't just...
Yeah, but it still could fit under the parameter of old ally turned enemy.
Sure, I agree. Like I said, I almost find some of the other things in there than the old ally. I'm not saying that's not interesting, but there's a lot you can actually take away from that little blurb, I think, or a lot we can read into, I suppose, that maybe means nothing.
I mean, Disney has to put something up there, right?
True.
Eventually. But they chose now. I always liked how the episode synopsises don't give things away. Like, sometimes they'll just use some vague, like, watch. Every week it'll be like, Kenobi embarks on a mission. Yeah. And it'll be that way until you watch the episode, and then the real synopsis will pop up. Because that's how it should be, so they don't ruin things. That's how
they usually do it. They usually have something very vague. Sometimes they don't even have, like, the episode title name or anything until you actually watch it on Disney+. I commend them for that.
Right, because after the first round, and I think people were upset, and they're like, fine.
Yeah.
Fix it. Done. Okay, our next story is, we're moving into Mando territory. Christopher Lloyd is going to guest star in Mando Season 3. There's no idea what his character's name will be or how big of a role he'll have, but I kind of always love when actors, like, want to be in Star Wars. So it's really cool. I mean, Mando's been filming for 6 months, so they should be close to wrapping it up, and then they'll be ready to start filming Ahsoka.
Yeah. I want Christopher Lloyd to play a wacky old scientist. I'm half joking. Maybe I'd actually like to see him in a more serious role.
What if he was literally playing his role as the Doctor from Back to the Future?
He went way back inside. There's going to be a DeLorean. Yeah, sure. Why not? No,
DeLorean.
I'm kidding. I see him playing some kind of old, grizzled Imperial officer. I mean, probably, like I said, I think it's going to be a more serious role, and he's done serious roles before. Not every. I don't know how well people know his acting career, but I can remember Taxi from way back in the day, where he was. He's a pretty crazy character in that. So obviously, Back to the Future. He's been in Star Trek. He's been in. God,
what if he goes along with the last story we'll be sharing today?
Possibly. You never know. But no, I think my guess, and it's cool he's going to be in there. I think they said he's going to have a small role. He's not going to be like a big-time recurring character. But I'm going to guess an old Imperial officer of some type. One of those, one of Palpatine's, long-time advisors or something is another. He could be an ancient Sith-type He could be like one of the dignitaries that we see, one of those old ones that we see in Return of the Jedi briefly. A lot of things we could do.
Old remnant of the...
Yeah, so one of his old buddies, one of
Empire.
Palpatine's old friends. I could see that. Maybe one who is helping bring him back.
No, he's
via
Snoke,
cloning.
clearly.
Oh, God. Maybe. Who knows?
He's a clone of Snoke that's not evil.
A clone
yet.
of Snoke. Now we're getting really crazy.
Pre-Snoke?
Pre-Snoke? Who knows? But no, I'm going to guess old Imperial officer or an old buddy of Palpatine's.
All right. Well, let's move on to the last story because it's a doozy today.
And this one is potential spoiler warning for...
Yeah.
I mean, it could be legit.
It could
I don't
be.
know.
It
So
could
do
be.
be warned that this is potentially spoiler territory. I'm going to say that with all leaks and rumors, no matter how crazy they are.
And this one's crazy. So the last thing we're sharing today from the rumor mill, and I kind of really hope it's a rumor because I don't think it's going to look great on screen. So Season 3 Mandalorian is going to see some sort of epic battle where foundlings will fight side by side with their caretakers while wearing child-size armor. That part I like, to see some foundlings fighting with their sponsors.
Sure, sounds all right.
In armor, cool. Supposedly this is going to include Grogu, who will, instead of wearing like his Beskar chainmail and stuff, will be inside a modified IG-11 reinforced with Beskar. So he's going to use like a Gundam mech suit to fight. But wait, there's more. IG-11 will have a onboard AI for Grogu, giving him success probabilities and the like. And according to the rumor, he's going to kick some serious stormtrooper butt in his armor. But don't worry, Taika Waititi is going to be the voice of the IG-11. Just what was the point of making him a Beskar shirt if this was the plan? The more I read into the rumor, the crazier it sounds. And I hope it doesn't go this way. I'd rather see Grogu wield the freaking Darksaber and use some of his Jedi skills than be reduced to a mech driver.
Well, for me, this is the problem with Grogu. Like, what do you do with him? And look, I like Grogu. I think he was a very, very pleasant surprise in The Mandalorian, who turned into a really enjoyable, I hesitate to say character because he really hasn't developed as a character. I'm not saying he's not, but he is kind of that, he's a plot device more than character currently. So you obviously do want to transition him and make him more than the cute, lovable, who does his Force thing every now and then, and, is Grogu is just Mando's friend. You want to move beyond that, but how do you do that considering you now have this character who is 50 years old and hasn't really matured in 50 years? You can't do a baby Groot to teen Groot where 2 days later he's talking and doing all this. So the question is, how do you do anything with him without really, again, advancing him too far? And this is the kind of thing I was worried about, that we're gonna put him in a mech suit or give him the Darksaber or just do something kind of strange with him. And you might think this could be really fun, and it might end up being really fun. It's one of those things, until you see it on screen, you never know how it's going to actually translate. It could be done really well, but I don't know. It just sounds really goofy, right?
It just sounds super goofy. Like I said, I like the idea of the battle with the foundlings and their caretakers. I can't see this being something that looks good on screen, and putting Grogu inside of a cavity in an IG-11 and having him walking around shooting people.
But the thing is, I can totally see it. Like, it's not that I think this is so outlandish I can never see them doing it. It's outlandish in a way, but it's something I could absolutely see them doing, because I think people really liked IG-11. I think Taika Waititi is obviously heavily involved in Star Wars, and his directed episodes. He's going to do a movie, so he could easily come back to do the voice of IG-11 again.
No, this one blew up, though. The one from The Mandalorian.
Well, sure, but the same unit could have, there's more than one IG-11. There's, multiple copies of that. So we find another one, we stick Grogu in there, it's got the same voice, and there you go. Or maybe somehow it is the same one. They put them back together, right? Hey, if we can put the Razor Crest back together after it's been...
We haven't.
Well, not after it got blown up, but we have put it back together before when it was taken apart. But I don't know. This one sounds really strange.
There's no room in his ship to store an IG-11.
No, there isn't, is there?
No. He barely has enough room for Grogu and him.
You're right. So it would be, well, who knows? Maybe he's already got a new ship. He did kind of look at it as a temporary thing, because it's hard to be a bounty hunter where you have no place to put your bounties,
You just
right?
need the heads.
True.
I told you.
True. And you could put them in the bubble, and it could
With
look like
Grogu.
Futurama there.
Just as long as he doesn't eat them.
Grogu, goodness. I don't know. Like I said, you have the dilemma of what do we do with Grogu going forward, because you decided to put him back with Mando instead of keeping him with Luke, where you didn't have to do anything kind of strange with him. You could have Luke and Grogu, as seen in Book of Boba Fett, they can communicate. We could have developed his character through backstory, through where he's been since, Order 66. They chose to put him back with Mando, and so now we have to figure out what to do with him, right?
Right.
We can't just keep having him be cute and doing force tricks every other episode.
Yeah, you could.
Technically, you could, but I think that runs out of steam eventually. I know a lot of people love Grogu. They watch Mando for Grogu because how cute he is, but eventually you got to do something with him, and I guess we're going to find out what that something is. Well, I guess that's all we've got for you this time. Now it's your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you think about this news and these leaks or rumors. What do you think Christopher Lloyd is going to be in The Mandalorian Season 3? Crazy old scientist?
He's going to be the one who makes the IG. Love it.
Goodness gracious, maybe. Maybe. What do you think he's going to be? What do you make of the synopsis for Kenobi? And what do you think about Mech Grogu? Do you think this is going to work? Do you think this is not going to work? Do you think he should have stayed with Luke? Are you happy he's back with Mando? Whatever it is, leave your comments below and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.